But first tonight, the coalition is back together. About time. The two leaders say they have resolved their differences. But have they? Because watching the joint press conference between Susan Lee and David Littleproud, there didn't seem to be much love lost. Have a look at the body language. Didn't look like there were a lot of smiles there. They both look like they would rather be anywhere but standing side by side, like a divorced couple who hate each other, have signed the paperwork, but pretend to like each other for the sake of the kids. Look, I don't know. Does this sound convincing to you?
But the coalition is back together and looking to the future, not the past. We're squarely focused on representing the Australian people.
I trust David and I value and respect the National Party.
I wouldn't be standing here today if I didn't trust Susan Lee and I didn't trust the Liberal Party.
Does that sound like a rallying call of reunification? Does it give reassurance to Conservative voters? Maybe I'm too harsh, but to me it was a united front, but not a united front. But they assure us now that they are on the same page despite two breakups in 12 months. Time will tell. Now, Susan Lee accepted a counter-offer from the National Party that will see all national shadow ministers suspended until March 1. It would appear the opposition leader has actually backed down on her original demand that the three nationals who broke shadow cabinet solidarity over the hate speech laws be suspended until July. Now, there's no doubt the coalition is better together. They need each other to govern. This is good news, but can they get past the reported screaming matches, not taking calls, and even Littleproud reportedly saying he can't be part of the shadow ministry under Susan Lee?
Greg, lots of people have said lots of things, and some have been attributed to people who are not named, and some have been. The point is that we did have differences, David and I, in our party rooms. We've resolved those differences.
It looked ugly, but we've had the courage to come back and say we're going to make sure it never happens again. That's leadership, that's courage.
And that's good because the coalition was the butt of all jokes by Labor in question time this week. And let's hope now the focus actually gets back to Labor. But it's got me wondering, how convinced are you that even with reunification that it's going to make any difference? The polls suggest they are bleeding voters to One Nation. Conservative voters have switched off, they're done. And it seems to me the coalition are in their will they, won't they era. Will they or won't they present something concrete? Will they or won't they present something solid? Will they or won't they survive as a coalition? Will they or won't they come up with policy positions? I mean, they've split up twice, first on energy, then, of course, on the hate speech laws. Conservatism has gone off a cliff. And at the same time in the Liberals, will they or won't they decide on a new leader? Senior Liberal MP Angus Taylor has reportedly got enough support in the party room to depose Susan Lee. However, his backers remain uncertain about the timing and whether they can secure the procedural support needed to force a spill motion. And Angus Taylor was remaining coy when asked about it on Friday.
Andrew Hastie's ruled himself out of any potential leadership spill. He's come out and made that very clear. Why haven't you?
Well, I'm not going to say to you and your listeners that I don't have and haven't had leadership ambitions. I clearly have had. That's why I ran for the leadership last time around. And many in our party room do, and I think ambition is a good thing. But most of all, what we all want is a better Liberal Party and a better coalition. And we need that fast. And if we don't deliver that, Australians will continue to look elsewhere, and that's simply not good enough.
Susan Lee remains confident she has the support.
I am very confident of the overwhelming support of my party room. They elected me 9 months ago to lead. I said then I was up for the job. I'm up for the job now.
But how long is this going to drag on for? Andrew Clennell was reporting on Sky News this morning that some MPs from the moderate faction believe Ms Lee should be given more time, potentially even a budget reply speech, to see whether she can stabilise the party. And I've got to be honest, the will they, won't they era is so tiresome and so boring. And I'm about to speak to the woman who is now the most favourable politician in the country, Pauline Hanson, who's capitalised on it. And it's got the Liberals, Nationals and Labor worried.
You know, One Nation is broadly a party of protest, very good at identifying problems. We often hear the conversation from them about the problems, not so good at identifying what the solutions are.
Well, how serious is Pauline Hanson? She seems to be only coming after National and Liberal Party seats. If the enemy is Anthony Albanese, as she articulates, she's not really serious, is she?
They're a single-issue party. I have no idea how they would vote in relation to important things like taxes, in relation to corporations law, in relation to...
Absolutely turned my stomach to see that One Nation, which was quite rightly a pariah of, you know, politics. Pauline Hanson's made a career out of sowing division and distrust and hatred between Australians, openly mocking people's most important spiritual beliefs, and yet here she is being regarded as a mainstream political force.
Look, that's just a load of nonsense. The formula One Nation has offered up is pretty simple. The party brings conservative and strong policies to the table without fear, like cutting mass migration. Where is the Liberal Party policy? I mean, there are some Liberals like Senator Andrew McLaughlin who are even too scared to say it, claiming the phrase mass migration is inflammatory and irresponsible. Then you've got some moderates wanting to align themselves with the Teals to make a new centre-right movement. Drag the party more to the left. Terrific. I mean, at every opportunity, moderates have warned the party against becoming One Nation light, as if that's offensive when One Nation is more popular than both the Liberals and Nationals. And the Liberals are meant to be the party of free speech, but backed in Labor's hate speech laws. So what do they stand for? And what is in it for Conservative voters? Will they or won't they decide on a new leader? And will they or won't they be able to work cohesively with the Nationals? But here is the key question. Does that even matter anymore, or is it too late? There is a blueprint over in the UK and Australia is following it. The Tories and Labor wrote off Nigel Farage and Reform UK, and now he no longer leads a protest party, but one which could genuinely form government. And by all accounts, he could very well be their next Prime Minister. Why? Because voters know what he stands for. Cutting mass migration, stopping the boats, making Britain British again. His policy has not changed since day one, and neither has Pauline Hanson's. Australia has changed. The will they, won't they, modern-day Conservatives just haven't caught up.